Welcome back! My name is Jeannie Dickson and this is video number 3 of a 4-part watercolor series. Today we're going to be talking about color theory and creating a muted, or as I like to call it, an earthy color palette. Color theory is something that may sound boring, but trust me, once you realize how important it is to know the basics, you will find it a very exciting topic. Let's dive in.
As a reference, I'm going to be using my book, Hello Watercolor. The first group of colors I want to introduce you to are the primary colors. These are red, yellow, and blue. They are called primary because you can't mix other colors to create them. However, you can mix them to create all the other colors. Secondary colors are those we obtain by mixing two primary colors. These are orange, green, and violet. Tertiary colors are those we obtain by mixing a primary with a secondary. These are yellow-green, blue-green, yellow-orange, red-orange, red-violet, and blue-violet. The traditional color wheel is one that consists of 12 colors or hues. These are all arranged in a circle according to their relationship to one another. So it's based on 3 primary, 3 secondary, and 6 tertiary colors. Something to be aware of is that the primary colors that are available to artists come in 2 versions, warm and cool. The warmth or coolness of a color is relative to where it sits on the color wheel. So in order to understand the relationship of these 6 primary colors, I recommend you use a split primary color wheel, which includes both the cool and warm versions of each primary color. As a fun exercise, we're going to swatch out our 6 primary colors. We will arrange them by cool and warm colors. Each color will be swatched in 3 different values, from darkest to lightest. You can obtain the lighter values by dipping your brush in some clean water. I'm using my MaimeriBlu paints that come in a tube. These are professional grade watercolors. What I like about them is how transparent they are. This is because they use only the highest quality pigments and contain no fillers. For my cool primaries, I'm using permanent lemon yellow, magenta quinacridone, and cobalt blue. For my warm primaries, I'm using golden yellow, cadmium red medium, and ultramarine deep. I'm going to label each primary with either a C for cool or W for warm. This will help me keep track of what colors I use as I proceed to mix them to create my secondary colors. As I mix orange, green, and violet, I will be selecting different combinations of 2 primary colors, starting with the one that will produce the cleanest, most vibrant secondary color. Then I will create different combinations using the warm and cool versions of those same 2 primary colors to see what other variations I can come up with. To make our secondary color orange, I used yellow and red. But look at all the variations of orange I got simply by changing up the type of yellow and the type of red I used. The other secondary colors are violet and green. We can create violet by mixing red and blue, and we can obtain green by mixing blue and yellow. So we'll go ahead and create the other 2 secondary colors and their different variations, just like we did with orange. So here we have a chart with all the beautiful secondary colors we've created. Some of them are brighter and more transparent, and some of them are more opaque and muted, or as I like to call them, more earthy. You can change up the ratio of the primaries used to create even more colors. The possibilities are endless. Complementary colors. These are colors that sit directly across each other on the color wheel. They are highly contrasting because they are opposites, so you can paint them next to each other when you want something to really stand out. Another way to use complementary colors is to mix them together to change a color's saturation or intensity. This is the brightness or dullness of a color. So you can change the intensity of a color by adding a little of its complementary. Today I'm going to show you how to create an earthy color palette by combining our 6 primary colors with a little of their complementary. I will swatch each new color in 3 different values from darkest to lightest. So here we have a very earthy muted color palette, perfect for some vintage florals or a landscape with more natural, desaturated colors. One last thing I would like to show you is how to create different types of browns. We're going to use the same method that we used before, where we combine the different warm and cool versions of each primary to create a variety of browns, some cooler and some warmer. We have finished adding some beautiful browns to our very earthy color palette. We got all of these colors using only 6 paints. If you're serious about learning watercolors, try this exercise. You can learn so much by mixing your own colors and spending time with your paints.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out the other videos in this series.